Hi there, my name is Sandra. For those who don't know me, I go by Create in Spain. I have decided to do some very much beginner tutorials on Shortcut Slot, specifically for those who are using a Caesar cutter. All right. I use a Caesar Juliet myself. I've used many different sorts of cutters, but that is the one that I use. And I have been using Shortcut Slot for many years. So I have deliberately opened up the standard version, which is one that you just purchase. It's a one-off purchase. I think it's about $47, something like that. So we can come to cutter up here and you'll see the cut settings. Now, up above this, you can't actually see it because of the way that Apple Macs have their display set up. Don't ask me why. But there is another thing right on the very top. It says Shortcut Slot 6. You then have File, Edit, Object, Path, Layer, Page, Effects, Text, View, and then Cutter. And if I cancel this one out and I go to Cutter, you have mat size. So you can choose your mat size. You can put a custom mat size in if you want. It's a very simple process. A box will open up and you just put some numbers in and do whatever you want to do. The mat orientation, I just keep as is. I don't alter that. Preview, it will just give you the preview of whatever you've got on here. I haven't got anything on it at the moment. And then you've got cut with size, Caesar. I always want to say Sizer. I can't help it. What was it, 3 years and I still want to say Sizer. Cut with Caesar. Cutting settings. Cut with Caesar is really like if you have more than one machine linked up to Shortcut Slot, you tell it which one you're using. So cutter settings. So the cutter settings, you don't want to mess around with this. The units you can have either in metric or not, depending on what you like. And I'm in the EU and I use metric. The mark type is 4. So you've got top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. Mark size, 2 centimeters. The mark thickness, you can't make that any thinner. You can make it thicker if you want. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can. And then you've got mark offset around design, mark inset from the print bound. So if your printer selects a smaller area for a print, it will go inside those bounds. Or you can mark inset from page bounds, which is probably the best one to start off with, just as a beginner. But just know that you can adjust that if you want to. Now, inset from page bounds is 2 centimeters. No, we don't want that. I would go for 0.5 centimeter. And even that, I would say, is erring on the side of caution for me. I usually have it like 1 millimeter around my project size or something silly. Segment marks, we don't have to bother with. Barcode, don't have to bother with at the moment. Jog speed, you don't want to mess around with. These are things that you might want to change at some point. I've never bothered to change them. I don't see any reason to. If you come up to here and you go to My Cutter, you get Manage Cutters, and this is where you want to head when you're first setting up your Shortcut Slot with your machine. Because when you get Shortcut Slot, it doesn't know if you've got a Caesar Juliet, a Caesar Romeo, a Solo, whatever, a Silhouette, whatever it is you've got. It doesn't know which one you've got. It needs to be told. So you've got company, brand, and you can see all the ones that they actually support. There are a lot of them. Okay, so you've got a choice of all these machines. If you ever change from a Caesar machine, you've got a choice of all this little lot, and you can still use your cut slot, right? Then you have the model. So you would come into here, you would click on Caesar, put that in there, come in here, and either click the Romeo or the Juliet, depending on which you've got. And I've already got my Caesar on there, so I just click done. Now, the reason you want to do that first off is A, it tells it what machine you are going to be connecting to, and it also changes some of the options depending on what type of machine you have as to what options the machines allow, okay? It isn't a case of shortcuts a lot allowing or disallowing something. Shortcuts a lot will allow all the features for everything. It depends on the machine you have. So you tell it you're using a Juliet or a Romeo, and the setup will work accordingly. I actually have Leonardo Pro, and I still use this because I prefer it. New file, open a file, save a file, cut something, i.e. remove it from the workspace, copy it, paste it, undo and redo. Notice these two, they are very useful. Use these buttons a heck of a lot. Import SVG. Now that also imports transparent background PNGs, just so you're aware. The trace function. The library gives you shapes, all sorts of different categories here, fonts and projects. Fonts will be whatever is included on your computer. Projects, that's stuff you make. So if you don't import any or you don't make any, you won't have anything in there. Store, never used it. Preview. Preview is important. Preview tells you exactly what you're going to be doing. If ever you're in any doubt of whether something is going to cut, whether something's going to print, whether something's going to draw, whether it's going to be score lines, you don't know where your print margins are or whatever, even if you want to see the notes, that's a good place to go. It will show you pretty much most things you want, and it will also show you the sizing, okay? So that's pretty good. Down the side, we have selection tool. So this one is where you would just draw a loop around something to select it. This is node editing or shape tool. So you edit the nodes in an outline with this. For beginners, just don't worry about it at the moment. This is your text tool. You have straightforward typing, you have vertical typing, type on a path, which could be a wobbly line, whatever, or type on an arch. You have what I call dot to dot. You have this sort of thing, just puts in nodes. Then you have a pencil, you have a pen, you have an eraser. Now the eraser is either in a circle form or a square form. You can change the size. You can keep your paths closed. I keep closed paths. That actually becomes a cut line. You can see this if you go to the preview. There we go. There's the cut line. So that's what happens if you keep the paths closed. If you don't keep them closed and you rub something out, it simply erases the line. And then we have shape tool. You've got a few different shapes here. And a lot of the shapes are adjustable. So for example, the star, you can adjust the number of points in a star. You can adjust how many spirals, how many layers are in the spiral, how many circles are in it, all that sort of stuff. Then you have a dropper tool. And this one you can either get a color or replace a color. So there's that. Then we have a graduating tool. So this will put a graduation onto an object that has a color fill. So yeah, it goes from pale to dark or whatever it is, and you can choose whatever colors you like. Then we have the knife tool, which is either a knife or a crop. If I have a shape on here and I want to just crop it down to a certain bit of it, the crop will do that, but it will delete everything else on the page. So don't use it when you've got other things around. Put it onto a separate page and crop it. And then the knife, well, that just acts like a knife. Then we have this one, which is distortion, pretty evident. And Then we have the stencil bridge. Now this is used mainly if you're doing a stencil of text, but it isn't designed as stencil text. You can put little lines through of a certain set width, very easy just by dragging, and you can put the gaps in that you would normally have in a stencil design. Then you have a zoom button, a ruler, and then you've got the hand tool to move around the map, around the screen. Over here we have got the box, which can be moved onto your work area, and you want to move it back, you just put it back to the sidebar. Okay, so up here moves it out, move it where you want it. If you want to put it away again, do that. This is the fill and stroke. So we have all the different qualities of the actual line and the shape that it makes. So you can have a color fill, no fill, a pattern fill, or a gradient. You can have a color for a line, you can have no color, you can have a pen color. Now these hamburgers on the right hand side are extremely useful. If you click on those, you have swap, fill and stroke. So if you had a fill that was red and a stroke that was blue, you could swap those colors around. Select all of the same fill. So if you've got shapes, so you've got half a dozen shapes and 3 of them only are blue, then you can click on a blue shape, click that, and it will select all the blue ones for you. We have basic colors and we have custom colors, which you drag and drop into there. Okay, so you can select by the color fill, or you can select by the stroke color, and it will pick up all the lines of that particular color. And then you can just right click and group them if that's what you want to do, or send just those lines to the cutter. The width of the line is only a visual for the work area. It does not affect the cut. You can, for example, put a shape in here. Now the width is 1. If I switch it down, I've got a very fine width indeed, but you can make it thicker just so you can see it. It will still cut in the middle of this thick black line, not either side of it. It will just cut through the middle. The join of the corners, different styles. The end caps, different styles again. And line style, you have a lot of different choices. You can edit them and make your own. So if you don't like these dash lines, you can make the lines different dash lines. So that's that little lot. Then you've got the wrench here, which is the cut settings. Now style is normal. You've got shadowed, rounded, straight, blackout. I wouldn't worry about them to start with, but these apply just to the actual cut that you're doing at that particular time. They don't alter the quality of the design here, they just alter it for the cut. For example, you have welded shapes. So if I were to come up here and do another one of these, okay, I could select those two and I could go weld. And then if you look at the preview, it gives you what the cut line would look like. All right. So that would apply solely for the time that that was actually being cut, not the file itself. Data source is for when you want to do a load of things like, I don't know, addressing envelopes or labels for products and things. Not really my thing. I have done it, but I never use it. Then we have the fonts, and you can choose your font from this list, which goes through all the fonts on your computer again, or you can use them from the library. I tend to use them from the library because I can see better what they are. And you've got the usual things to change the quality of the text that you're typing, the leading, the vertical offset, the rotate, whether you have it centered to the left, to the right, all these sorts of things. And you can choose to rotate it by a set degree if you want to. Not something I generally do, but you can if you feel like it. And the one down the bottom here, I'm going to put it up here so we can see better. This is your layers panel. This is probably one of the most important boxes in here because everything you design, everything you draw will be in there. So this little hamburger here has different options. If they're greyed out, it just means that you haven't got anything selected to do it to. And one of the things that it does have is remove empty layers. So if I do that, any empty layers I've got should actually be gone. So if I take those out, now that's strange. I've got layers there that I didn't realise I had. I've got something there. Aha. It's always worthwhile checking, particularly if you're doing a print and cut and your registration marks don't go where you think they should be going, that you haven't got anything tucked up in a corner where you've accidentally clicked on something. And I often do it because I might have this selected and then I go to select something and it's drawing another square and oh whoops, didn't mean to do that, and I forget that that has drawn something up there. Could be very tiny, and yeah, I've completely forgotten it. So this little one here is to add a layer folder, and then this will give you an option to delete it. But the hamburger is quite useful because you can also arrange, so you can raise a layer to the top or lower it to the bottom, whatever. You can show and hide all the layers, toggle all the layers, which means you just go through them one by one. You can lock and unlock. You can expand all the layer folders to show everything which is in them, or you can collapse them, or you can expand just the current or collapse just the current layer. Remove the empty layers I just told you, and then the layer properties. And then down here you've got a few hints. So yeah, there we go. That is pretty much the basics. Oh, down here we got different pages. You can add more than one page to a file, but if you export it as an SVG, you will have to export every single page. If you save it as a shortcut slot file, then it saves everything, and that's an important thing to know. And then up here you've got another plus tab that you can add new project. You also have a different version of the handles. Should you require, you can go to advanced. When you get to really know it, you don't necessarily want to have the basic handles on it. So I think that is pretty much it. You just need to have a good play. It's always a good idea. Just have a play. Playing is good. I'll see you again soon. Take care now.